Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Today we're going to be reviewing Gtechniq C5 Wheel Armour, which is a ceramic based wheel coating.
So it came to this, got there all too fast, all you can hope for, turn right on into dust. My sweet Lord, where I'm bound, won't you help me get my feet back on the ground? My sweet Lord, where I'm bound, won't you help me get my feet back on the ground?
Gtechniq C5 Wheel Armour is a ceramic silica based coating that forms a chemical bond to your alloy wheel and provides 2 years of protection. This ceramic product has excellent contaminant and stain resistance and brake dust repellency and will help preserve the finish of your alloy wheel. C5 Wheel Armour costs around £22 to £23 for 15 millilitres of product, which they say is enough to do around 8 wheels depending on the size. Alternatively, you can buy a 30ml bottle of the product for £42 to £43, which will obviously do around 16 alloys depending on the size of those alloy wheels. To apply the product, you should be using the Gtechniq lint-free applicators. The product comes with 4 of those applicators, but I recommend you go and buy a load of them because they're not particularly expensive, and I'll put a link in the description where you can go and buy at least sort of 10 or 20 of them. The next thing is the environment you install this in, guys. You just need to have a clean, kind of dry, room temperature environment. You don't want to be applying them outside where, you know, the external environment can affect your application, where it could rain or it could be over hot or there could be dust falling on the alloy while you're applying it. So a garage is ideal. Gtechniq recommend that you do it in a well ventilated area because these ceramic products, you don't want to be inhaling them directly. So after you've applied them to your applicator, you put the lid back on, and like I say, the area needs to be well ventilated. That's one of the things you need to be mindful of. The next thing is application, guys. Wear latex gloves so that when you're laying out the product with the applicators, if any of it does get onto your fingertips, the gloves are going to protect you. And when you've finished applying them, you can take the gloves off, and that avoids you later on potentially getting bits of the dried product in your eyes or your mouth if you're biting your fingernails, all that sort of stuff. So it's common sense really, but you know, I'm not too good with all this protective stuff, but really with this product you do need to be wearing the latex gloves. It's good advice. Before you apply this product, you need to deep clean your alloy wheel as appropriate. So with my alloy wheels, they were covered in brake dust and they had some fallout contaminant on them. So I actually just used a strong alkaline cleaner. I didn't need to use the acid cleaner, but I had it there. If they were going to be dirty, I would have gone at them with the acid cleaner first. But I used a strong alkaline cleaner to lift most of that dirt. Plenty of brush work with the array of brushes that I've got there, and I'll put a link to all of those in the description. Once you've got that alloy wheel to a good clean standard, then you need to do a decontaminate. We did a chemical decontaminate with Bilt Hamber auto wheels just to bleed out small traces of bonded fallout that were stuck on there. Once the alloy wheel was fully cleaned and decontaminated, I gave it a quick polish with a polishing cone on the drill bit and Shoal S20. I didn't need to do any major correction on that. I just wanted to give it a polish with a little tiny bit of cut and then something that would finish down with a standard good enough for an alloy wheel. So I found S20, Shoal S20 black 1-step compound on the polishing cone was ideal for that. Regardless of whether you polish the alloys or not, Gtechniq recommend that you apply a cleanser fluid to the alloy wheel to ensure you've got a clean surface for the ceramic coating to bond to. In this video I used the Bilt Hamber cleanser fluid product, which is a non-abrasive pre-wax cleanser. Gtechniq also offer and recommend their own panel wipe product. So to apply the product, you take the lid off and turn the product over on top of the Gtechniq applicator. The product will come out in fast droplets and you'll get used to the speed that it kind of pours out, but it's a rate where you can control where you're putting all the drops. Don't obviously put all the drops in one place on top of each other. You've got this kind of round pad here. I worked where I'd put, say, the size of a 50p coin towards one area north of the applicator, and then I would use, you know, when you're holding it, you've got your thumb at the bottom and your two fingers over the top. You place it on the alloy wheel and then start to rub the product over the whole surface of the alloy. So once you've got the product onto your applicator, you place it on the alloys and then you start wiping the product over every part of the alloy. The first thing you need to be mindful of is the product is very, very translucent and it's hard to see where you've applied it. And good light, you know, a good light source will help you see where you've applied the product. But the key point I want to get across is just work methodically around the alloy. So you start at one point on the alloy, you know, cover all that point and move on in a methodical way that ensures you get the full alloy coated, okay? It's also perhaps a good idea that if you're going to be coating the barrels of your alloys and all of the alloy surface really, because all of it's going to get covered in contamination, so all of it needs to be protected in my mind. It's a good idea to do the barrel first and all the innards, so that when you turn the alloy over, the face is then on top. If you do the barrel first, if you do the exposed outer surface first and you turn the alloy over, the bottom of that might then be rubbing on a towel, which you know, before the product's cured, you want to avoid that. So I would do the inside first and then the outer face and all the spokes last. So after you've applied the product to one particular area, Gtechniq advise that you use a clean 70/30 microfiber terry cloth, and they sell their own branded one that I'll put a link to in the description. But here I had a clean new 70/30 standard terry microfiber that's good quality. The important thing is when you use this cloth, so make sure it's clean. Do not apply pressure because that coating hasn't cured yet, and if you go and buff it very aggressively, you can take too much of the coating off. The purpose of going over it with the microfiber is if you've got any unlevel bits or any high spots, a light buff will just help to level the product. So that's the purpose of that. It's not to like buff it away like you do with a wax, which is really important to say. The product needs 12 hours to fully cure, guys, and if you're going to apply this product properly, obviously the wheels have to come off of the car for you to be able to clean and prep them properly and for you to be able to apply them properly. So the ideal scenario is after you apply them, you leave them inside so they don't get exposed to any rain or water or dust from outside, and leave them inside for 12 hours, and once it's fully cured, you refit them onto the car. So from this point onwards, you now have your alloy wheels protected with C5 Wheel Armour, and you have that strong silica quartz-based coating on the top of your alloy wheels. You should notice that it's much easier to clean and maintain your car when you're pressure washing that dirt off in future. But what Gtechniq advises, you don't use any harsh, strong acid wheel cleaners from that point on, because they can still deteriorate the coating. So you should ideally clean them as often as you can get your maintenance washes in, but when you do, a mild shampoo or a mild citrus pre-wash should be ideal, just to remove any of that light contamination, which is going to struggle to bond to this surface protection that you put on there. Okay, that's all the sort of factual based stuff in my script that I've got out, and now as always I want to go into ramble mode just for a minute or so, because I think people watching this video, the key thing they'll be saying is there are other guys that have already gone into the ceramic world and know about what these ceramic coatings are offering you, or there's someone that's using perhaps more traditional based products to protect their wheels, and you might be looking at this thinking, I don't want to use ceramics. So I want to give you my thoughts on how viable these products are, what their strengths to you as a consumer are, and what perhaps the disadvantages are. Okay, the number one reason for using them, guys. Now, I've used a lot of the other recommended non-silica or non-ceramic based products to coat and protect my alloy wheels, and there is one big downfall with them, and that is durability based on the environment that they're exposed to being coated to a wheel. Now the biggest problem with alloy wheel is it's constantly, when you're using the car, getting blasted with abrasive brake dust, and then typically because the wheels are getting dirty, you're cleaning them in a slightly more aggressive manner with slightly more aggressive products. And what tends to happen is no matter what the product is, if it's non-ceramic based, it will not last that long, and its ability to protect you from all those contaminants, and the wheels get hammered with them, that ability diminishes quite quickly. Now the kicker, here's the kicker. Whenever you seal and protect your alloy wheels properly, no matter what you use, if it's a wheel wax, if it's a sealant, you know, FK 1000P, or whatever you use, if it's a ceramic, to do it properly, the alloy wheel has to come off the car. Okay, and if you're a guy like me and you're doing this at home, you're going to be jacking up, taking off one wheel at a time, deep cleaning it, decontaminating it, polishing it, applying the product, waiting for the product to cure, sticking the thing back on, then moving on to the next one. It will easily take you 4 hours to take these wheels off, you know, clean them properly, prep them properly, and apply any product to them, and then put them back on. So the point is, if you're going to do that, and it's a big job, then in my mind, I want to use the best, most long-lasting, most noticeable product that's going to provide the maximum amount of protection, so I don't have to be doing this 3 or 4 times a year. Because like I say, it's a big job. The ceramic coatings themselves, even though, you know, pound for pound, they are a lot more expensive than your traditional sealants, which will go on and on and on. The fact you don't have to kind of apply them, once you've got it down, it will deliver on its durability, and it will give you proper protection that can withstand, you know, those harsh brake dust being fired at it, and it can withstand those cleaning cycles more than your traditional products. That's the #1 reason why you should be using them. Do you need to be worried about how difficult it is to apply this ceramic coating? No. For me, like I've said before, regardless of the type of protection that you're going to be using on your alloy wheels, you have to take the alloys off and deep clean them properly. So that doesn't change. And then when you've got a clean alloy that's ready to be protected, away you go. You just need to get yourself organised. Make sure you've got good access to your alloy in a place that you haven't got to, you know, you don't want to be down on your knees applying this. You want to be able to see the alloy in good light in a well ventilated area that's not outside, away from the external environmental things, which, you know, it can start raining when you're doing it. There are things that can go wrong, but they're all quite superficial things. And if you follow the instructions on the box from Gtechniq, and Gtechniq have got a video online on YouTube as well, which I'll link in the description, about how to apply it. If you follow those steps, there is not a lot that you can get wrong. It's very difficult to over apply this product. You would really have to be going crazy on it. Now bear in mind, you know, half a bottle should do 4 alloys. That gives you a good idea of how much you should be using. And that's a good guideline to get you started. Apply it like they say, let it cure like they say, maintain it like they say without any harsh acids, and you will get fantastic protection from C5 Wheel Armour. Please feed back to the channel how you guys go about protecting and maintaining your alloy wheels, what products you use, whether they're ceramic coatings or not. I'd like to know about them. If you've got experience with using ceramic coatings, I'd like to know your thoughts in the comments of them. There are a lot of products on the market, these wheel protections. You know, I looked at which ones to do, and I went with a brand that had a good reputation. I think their price was a little bit cheaper than some of the other brands. They had really good consumer information. I could access the MSDSs. There was tutorials on how to use it. Their customer services were good, and Gtechniq, you know, got a really good reputation with both the kind of professional accredited detailers and those products that are available for those accredited detailers, as well as a strong reputation for consumer goods. So I went with C5 Gtechniq Wheel Armour, and I'm really impressed with the results. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for the Forensic Detailing channel for more detailing content to follow. See you later.